What made you focus on automation and immersive learning as a solution?
So, the solution to our training, we went through a real tough time in COVID, and it seems so long ago, but it isn't that long ago when it all happened. And
Mhm.
we had legislation changes by the minute at some points through COVID. I was speaking on different channels, helping and supporting our industry. And for me, it was all about how can I make this easy? How can I make it easy for our managers, our teams, our business owners to actually run their businesses effectively?
Hello and welcome to Smart Profit AI. In today's episode, we're exploring how automation is reshaping course delivery for small teams, especially in industries facing constant pressure like hospitality. To help us dive into this, I'm joined by Alison, a hospitality leader turned innovator who has created an immersive VR gamified technology platform to help businesses train smarter, faster, and more effectively. Alison, thank you so much for being here today. So before we dive in today's theme, could you start by introducing yourself, your background, and share a little bit about your journey from decades into hospitality leadership into building the VR training platform?
Oh, yes, so I'm Alison Magee-Barker, as Anika's mentioned. I own two businesses, AJ Lake's Consultancy, which is well known for adding six figures onto every business I work with within 6 months. And that is mainly a coaching business. It's called Consultancy, but realistically, me being me, I do a lot of coaching in that and training. So it's mainly coaching business, that one. And then the other business, which was born in lockdown, was
Yeah.
is the AJ Lakes Training Academy Limited, which has the pioneering virtual reality training experience. It's results focused, gamified training experience for the hospitality industry to make a massive difference in our industry. And why do I know all that? Because I've spent 30 plus years in the hospitality industry. I have worked in all departments in hospitality, and I love it. I live it and breathe it. And for about 28 years of those, I was actually a general manager in hotels and running hotels from basic to luxury brands, always achieving results. And even in crisis times, I tended to know the strategy and plan of how to get out of the crisis or issues that come from external, which is a good old pestle analysis. But I I've got this big mission to help a million busy business owners, teams, and managers to live their best lives by being emotionally, physically, mentally, and financially free. And we can't do that without automation. So, automation is a big element, and I like easy to implement because in hospitality we are very, very busy people and
Yeah.
consistently out there to serve and make magical memories for people who come to our destination, our hotels, venues, businesses. So for me, it's all about having really good, easy to implement systems, processes, so that
Yeah.
we can enjoy our best lives and actually help other people to do that too.
Okay. And so you said you use automation. What made you focus on automation and immersive learning as a solution?
So, the solution to our training, we went through a real tough time in COVID, and it seems so long ago, but it isn't that long ago when it all happened. And
Mhm.
we had legislation changes by the minute at some points through COVID. I was speaking on different channels, helping and supporting our industry. And for me, it was all about how can I make this easy? How can I make it easy for our managers, our teams, our business owners to actually run their businesses effectively and do the things they like doing, which is looking after people and being hospitable and serving people. So that was the big thing for me, the driver. And so I created a 6 minute module training experience so it is quick and easy to implement. So for me, why is it important? It's so that we can actually do what we're here to do and let the automation, the processes actually deliver all of the other things that actually help the business to keep running efficiently and effectively, but we don't have to be working the 100-hour weeks that I was used to throughout my career. I thought it was the norm. I thought everybody did it, and now I've had children, and I want to make sure that we can have hospitality as the leading career choice in the UK, and we've got to change that. We've got to change how we are as an industry to help and support people to actually automate a lot of their work so that they're making a massive positive difference to the guests who come through their doors and actually make the magical memories, which is what we're here for. So the automation is a no-brainer.
Okay. And how does your VR gamified platform actually help small teams train more effectively?
So it is, as I said earlier, it's 6-minute modules. So it's really easy and it's easily accessible. You can actually download the app on your smartphone, your iOS or your Android, and then you put it in one of our goggles, which is they call it a Google Cardboard, but it is actually made of not of cardboard, of plastic. And you pop your phone in there and you're in the experience. What the beauty of immersive is yes, it's gamified training, so it's appealing to the next generation. And it's putting you in real life scenarios. So you're safe. You're not in that scenario as a role play where it's uncomfortable. You're in that scenario as a game. And you get to experience what it could be like in a really tough environment, but actually you're safe. You're just in the game there. But the beauty of immersive is the analytics that it's actually taking from that game and putting it into a management portal for you to learn and use. So it's got coaching elements and scoring elements, but it's actually helping you to get better every single day that you use it. Every time you use it, you're going to get improvements, and it's got all sorts of little toys in there and little games and celebrations and everything. But the link to the KPIs of the business, which is the key performance indicators, is really important. And for me to automate that, we had to design a process that would help. So I'm not literally writing every single script, which is what I
Yeah.
originally started to do. And that is not effective for my time. My
Yeah.
time is more effective elsewhere to help and support the
Yes.
businesses to get it out there and actually help support people to take it on board. So immersive is helping businesses and people improve in what they're doing, potentially get promotion and get trained in that promotion, because we see so many times in different industries where people are amazing waiters or waitresses, and then suddenly the food and beverage manager and they've no idea how to manage teams or people,
Yeah.
or to do all the management experiences. And that's where it's really important. It's only 6 minutes to try it out and then keep trying it until you've got coached into that position, so that you're not uncomfortable
Yeah.
in a real life environment where it is all going wrong and people are walking out, and it puts you under the worst pressure. And I've been there, so I know what it feels like. So
Yeah.
for me, it's vitally important that I'm here to help and support all those individuals who want to live their best lives.
Of course. Yeah, so the hospitality industry is facing huge challenges: staffing crisis, costs, the constant firefighting. From your perspective, what are the top pain points right now?
So many, but the top ones
Yeah.
is the cost at the moment. The businesses, so it's having a very big knock-on effect to businesses stay afloat. There's lots of businesses that are closing down in our industry at the moment, and so the cost is a real killer for us. I mean, the increases in NI, and alone we've got food cost increases. We've got so many impacts, energy, the whole lot. I mean, it's a perfect storm in all reality in our industry, but it has a knock-on effect, because what the bosses need to do and the leaders in our businesses need to then mitigate the risk of the cost increases, whatever that may be: payroll,
Yeah.
energy, food costs, you name it. And that they're
Yeah.
just a few of the costs that have risen. There's actually, if you looked at the P&L accounts in businesses and compare them to a couple of years ago, you'll be absolutely gobsmacked how the increases have gone so high. What they're doing, the leaders in the businesses, rightly so, is they're having to cut some big costs out of the business, which is actually tightening up the staffing issues. So people are working harder and longer, and under pressure. And this is why immersive is so important right now, because it will
Yeah.
help and support people to be trained on all areas, but make you more efficient. And automation in processes that do not need people to actually do it will help and support, so that we won't have businesses where they're really struggling. For me, we are going through the perfect storm, but we have done this before. I get asked a lot. There's a question I do get asked a lot: if how long will hospitality be around? Is it dying? And no, it's not. We're very resilient in our industry, incredibly resourceful and great at diversifying, and we proved that in COVID times. And I've got
Yeah.
to say, we were around since 1700 BC. So when you look at that, we were first known in French caves. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to get better,
Yeah.
but we'll get more resilient, and we'll find opportunities to be able to help and support us to basically keep our businesses going, but actually grow it very, very sustainably.
Of course. And where do you say immersive training and automation having the biggest impact over the next few years?
Staffing, so it will help and support the people on the ground, and
Mm.
ultimately it will, because it's linked to the KPIs of the business, the key performance indicators of businesses. It will improve the businesses and sustain the businesses. So, but the people, we have a statistic that's really quite high, and it really shocked me when I learned about this. And 42% of people who start in our industry leave within the first 30 days. And the you may say, well, why is that? And it could be because
Yeah.
the communication wasn't really correct. So we've got a try before you buy element coming very
Yeah.
soon in immersive. And basically, you can try the job on for size, and you can do that in
Mm.
all levels. That's what we're building right now. And for me, it's about making sure that we communicate correctly. We bring people on board and train and develop them. So for me, it's about growing our industry's professionalism. It's about growing the the difference we make. We make magical memories, but we can also really tear somebody's memories apart if we get it wrong. So we've got a
Yeah.
big task on our shoulders, and that's why immerse is so important. And to be fair, we're
Yeah.
already being approached by different organizations and different
Yeah.
industries, because customer service is key. You get it
Of
wrong,
course.
and you can really ruin somebody's day, week, month, year. But if you get it right, you can literally have a guest forever.
Yeah. And you've said your journey's been a bit of a roller coaster. What has surprised you the most in building an immersive training business?
Where do I start? I've never been shy, and I'm very transparent in everything I've gone through. And it's probably been the biggest roller coaster of lows in my life. And I actively tell everybody I'm a CEO of a techie
Mm.
business, but I am no techie. I do
Yeah.
understand, just putting it out there, I do understand more than I admit to. And
Yeah.
there's a reason for that, because I do think that's important. But I surround myself with the most amazing people in the industry that we're in, the tech business. I've got a
Yeah.
great chief technical officer who created virtual reality for Sony PlayStation. So I always, and the rest of the team are just phenomenal. That's just one of the team. And I always surround
Yeah.
myself with people who are better than me. It's really important for me that that happens, but the journey has been really tough.
Yeah.
I'm on a cohort at the moment with Venture Forward in Manchester, and it's
Yeah.
run by venture capitalists who are teaching us how to be investable.
Yeah.
And it was quite fascinating. One of the comments was, you've got to really have grit and
Yeah.
determination, of which I have that in abundance. But and they said, and you've got to know how to work long hours. And I laughed at the time, thinking, you've no idea, and because I've come from an industry where that's what I live and breathe. They are the hours that, I'm running two businesses full time, so I'm probably doing way more than anybody else at the moment, and that's
Yeah.
not 100% true, but it's tough going because I also am a mom,
Yeah.
I'm a wife,
Yeah.
and I'm a daughter,
Yeah.
I'm in that sandwich generation, and those of you who know that it's tough going because you're trying to juggle and you become a very good juggler, but the it's hard when you're building a tech business and you're relying on Apple and Google
Yeah.
and Android, because if they change any of the
Yeah.
processes at any point, we
Yeah.
may, and we've had to do it twice now, have to redevelop the whole flipping application, which I found incredibly tough. And I've bootstrapped the whole lot. So I've nearly had a divorce 4 times over during this process because I've used every penny I've got and
Yeah.
worked for free for 4 years. So it's tough
Okay.
going, but there is a reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I'm very passionate and I've got an amazing purpose. But I'm very passionate about our industry and about
Okay.
people, about making a difference in people's lives.
Okay. And can you share a story of a business that used your platform and you saw real transformation?
So it's still in the early stages. I have
Okay.
got a local hotel in the Lake District here, who has been using it, and I'll never forget. I've got to say, it's incredible. The faces and the comments that came, because I was there with them when they first tried it on, and
Yeah.
they went, "Oh my goodness, this is a game changer. This is really powerful for our industry because it made
Yeah.
them think." And they were put in a very constructive, but it was very tough, pressurized environment where two
Of
guests
course.
walk into a hotel at 10
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning. This is a scenario, and they want to get ready for a wedding at 12, and you're fully
Yeah.
booked. And of course, nobody's checked out what you do, and then you've got to then work it out. And it
Yeah.
was quite fascinating because they got very competitive between themselves, quite competitive in the fact that they they kept saying, "How have you got higher than me? What did you do that made a
Yeah.
difference?" But ultimately, it increases your guest reviews, which will increase your
Yeah.
marketing out to the outside world because people always check on reviews, whether you like it or not. That's what they do. It's human behavior. So the difference it makes is it is increasing the revenue, it's increasing the guest reviews, which helps with the marketing of the business because the more higher reviews you get, the better people are more likely to trust you. And
Yeah.
actually, it made each and every one of them think about how they react to guests in a pressurized
Yeah.
environment. One in particular stood up and said, "Why do people do that?" And they were getting quite cross. And then it's a coaching
Of course.
element where, think about it. They have made that decision to come early because they want to go to the wedding. They wrongly assumed, which people do, communication.
Yeah.
And, it's easy to turn around and say, "Have you not read your email?" Which is one of the
Yeah.
answers on one of the matrix
Yeah.
behind the scenes. And
Hmm.
and I said, and what is the end result of that? What is the end result of you picking? Have you not tried? Have you not read your email? Because whether they have or not, they're still stood there in front of you. And it's how do you
Yeah.
create a solution? So it's changing the mindset with the team and actually getting the team to understand what is going
Yeah.
on in the guest's mindset and how to
Yeah.
help and support them to change that mindset to enjoy their stay or their experience, whether it's food and beverage operation. So redeveloping at the moment, and we're hoping to have the end product basically ready at the end of November. But we
Yeah.
with a new management portal with more analytics in to help and support to increase the KPIs in the business, because that's really important, especially where the industry is right now.
Yeah.
So yes, it's increasing the revenue,
Mhm.
it's increasing the guest reviews, and ultimately it's increasing the knowledge, skills, and experience of every person who is using it. And they all loved it because it was a game.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. It wasn't a classroom, it wasn't a workshop, it wasn't an online course where they've forgotten half of it before they get in. They were then talking about the experience. As you know, as soon as they took the goggles off, they went, goodness, what do and there's no answers the same, so you can't even compare the answers. But it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Different scores, different elements, but it is increasing all of the KPIs of the business, but ultimately it will then help and support each individual to work in all areas of the business, depending on what modules that they open or the business decides to purchase.
Okay. Okay, let's move on then. So, looking at the bigger picture, how do you see automation reshaping course delivery for small teams across industries and not just in hospitality?
Yeah, so for me, automation is the biggest element of any course
Yeah.
delivery. There's with the introduction of AI. I mean, I've had an AI now for 6 years, so I've been training mine for quite some time. So
Yeah.
it speaks like I do. It understands what I'm looking for and delivers. So it's saving me a lot of time, energy, and money. And
Yeah.
with link to Canva, you can do slide decks if that's how you produce course delivery. But automation, I right at the beginning when I first had online courses and workshops, it was almost like a manual event where we've got a mentoring program, the AJ Lakes mentoring program, which is a peer-to-peer group experience. And they go through the training academy, which is online courses to help and support them on their journey. But they also have 3 group sessions with me per month. Now, when we started that, to sign up was quite difficult because I would then have to add them onto the Facebook group and add them onto the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
So if we had 10 sign up at once,
Yeah.
that was, 2 hours of my time. So
Of
automation is
course. Yeah.
crucial and it's critical to
Yeah.
scaling any business. I don't care what anybody says, it's not going to take jobs away from people. Automation is
Yeah.
the key to growing
Okay.
and scaling your business wherever you are, in any industry, in any country, in any culture. It doesn't really matter. The more automated you can get in business, the better it will save you time and energy. Whilst it's still bringing in the money, you're actually
Yeah.
able to either create more or go on holiday or have a day off or actually spend time with other people. And that's the thing, that
Yeah.
the ultimate for everybody should be to live a fulfilled life. It's not just about getting a
Sure.
certain
Yeah.
amount of money at a certain time
Yeah.
of your life. It's about actually fulfilling your life on the journey. And I
Of
know
course.
how hard it is when you've not got that.
Yeah. Okay. And finally, what is one piece of advice that you would give to business leaders that are struggling with training, staffing, and their teams today?
Book a 20-minute introductory call with me. Guarantee that 20 minutes will be worth that
Yeah.
time, energy, and investment that you put in. Because if you still, I've got a big, and Robert Kiyosaki said this very, very eloquently, if nothing
Yeah.
changes, nothing changes. And I see a lot of businesses, they see an investment and they don't look at it as an investment, they look at it as a cost, and they don't realize
Yeah.
that actually it's an investment in the future of their business. The difference
Of
that
course.
they can make for themselves, their teams, the
Yeah.
financial, aspects, the whole lot. So I would definitely say book a 20-minute call. And do you know what? It's no obligation. I'm not here to sell anything.
Yeah,
I'm here to help and support. And for me, it's about, if you
of
want to
course.
make a difference, get somebody who gets it, who understands it, who
Yeah,
feels that pain. And I've been through all that pain, so I know what it feels like, and I know how
yeah,
to hold every person's hand to get them out of that pain, because I've done it
yeah,
myself, scrimping and scraping and climbing. But I don't want anyone to go through that pain, and to make a difference in their lives is certainly invest in that time and
yeah,
energy to take an hour out a week at least to do a strategy on your own business, whether it speaks to me or speaks to anybody who wants to automate more
yeah.
or add processes in systems. Please, just invest the time in doing that.
And the last two questions then. What would you say your biggest challenges as of now in your business?
So we are a tech business, and tech business is a SaaS business. So it's quite interesting that right now, because we're redeveloping and are self-funded up to now, we are now looking for investment. So we're looking for the right partner to be able to invest into our business, but be part of that journey. We don't want
Yeah,
somebody who, can just drop some money in and then want to return. Yes, there are lots of people who would be grateful of that, but we've got
yeah,
a great team in our business. So the biggest
yeah.
challenge right now is finance, and it
Okay.
is completely out of my comfort zone, having
Yeah,
self-funded and bootstrapped so far.
yeah,
I've never had a loan in my life, and now I've got one because
yeah,
we've got a cash flow to get to commercialization, which is not that far off, but I know we've got to go for it, and it's a risk, but it's my risk that I'm taking.
of
So
course.
that's the biggest issue right now, and we're still juggling because we're in the middle right now. So we're
Yeah,
in the middle of getting ready to launch, but we are also developing and getting out there. So I'm probably doing about 20 people's work at the moment, and so's the rest of the team,
oh
but we're all
gosh.
doing it for the greater good of where we're going. So
Yeah,
it's all heads down at the moment. So time, energy, and money is our biggest headache at the
yeah,
moment, money being the top one.
okay.
Um, because we are
Yeah,
looking for investment, but we are working towards it. So I always have this strategy that anything that can be a problem, and we did see it coming, so we've been working on this for a while. Anybody in business knows that if you consistently checking your scoreboard, your dashboard in your business, you're watching it like a hawk, and you're coming up with a strategy and
yeah,
plan to make it different and easier for yourselves. And I've gone out of my comfort zone. It's certainly making me grow as a person, which is a great thing.
of course. Okay, and then the final question is, where would you see your business going in the next 6 to 12 months?
Okay, 6 to 12 months will be all across the UK. So for the AJ Lakes
Okay.
Training Academy, I
Yeah.
definitely see us actually into at least 100 hotels. I'd love to beat that
Okay.
trajectory, which is what we're doing. We're going for 200 hotels, so I'm just letting you know we're doubling it. Then the consultancy, which is the other business, I have people lined
Yeah.
up who are going to put products and services in there that can be running that, whilst I am really focused on getting out there,
Yeah.
speaking at events, showcasing immersive XP, actually being invested in. So for me, it's all about having an investment partner on board and actually conquering all our goals. And I'm big on that. I'm very passionate about achieving and exceeding goals. So in the next 6 to 12 months, it will have achieved year three goals, which
Yeah.
will be 300 hotels in 12 months. But 6 months, I'm hoping to get, 100 through the door,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
exceeding what our forecast is.
Okay, that's really good to hear. So, Alison, thank you so much for joining me today. You've shown how automation and immersive training aren't just about efficiency, but they're about empowering small teams, solving real industry challenges, and helping businesses thrive long term. For anyone listening who wants to learn more about your work and your VR training platform, where can they go?
So they can go to www.ajlakes.com or contact me direct. I'm always good at being contacted direct. Alison,
Yeah,
Alison, at ajlakes.com, or any of my social media. Go and have a look on YouTube,
yeah,
TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it. But
sure.
contact me
Yeah.
direct.
And to our audience, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and leave us a review. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Anika.
You're welcome. Thank you.